Hi, everyone. I hope everyone's doing good today. My name is Jen Ballou, and I am here with
Taryn Cumming. Hi.
and we're here to share a little bit more about these experiences within the sperm donor recipient community. And also to offer up the space of a Facebook group, which we will link below, that's a safe space to talk about some of these experiences, specifically with unethical donors, people who do not have good practices, and just all of the shit that goes on behind the scenes. Let's put it that way. So that's that. Today we wanted to talk a little bit about, I wanted to share, I had a couple comments on my last video that for whatever reason I was shadow banned and I'm not allowed to respond back to. So I chose to remove them because I felt that they were not helpful towards our aim, towards our intention. They were very much in alignment with victim blaming or not understanding the perspective of or the experience of what somebody else may go through. And within that, I also just wanted to clarify a bit about my own experience. So one of the comments was essentially telling me that you chose this, right? Essentially, you chose this. And number one, I chose to have a child. I chose to have a baby. That was my intention, and to do it in the best way possible that I felt aligned to. And that was by using a known donor. And that was by, going the way of what, as far as I knew about donor conceived perspectives and how my child would relate to that, that was the best option. I didn't choose many aspects of this experience that I had with Kyle, namely what was very rapey. And after consulting with a lawyer, I was told that this falls under sexual assault and this falls under rape by deception in California law. So knowing that I am looking for recourse, knowing that I deserve, a recourse for this experience I had, or some way of speaking out on it, or some way of feeling better about it, because this is what needs to happen. This can't go on. And if this is illegal activity, then I'm going to do something about it. So that's number one. I don't feel comfortable going into certain aspects of this experience, but I can say that Kyle was very aggressive and forceful. And because of other aspects of our exchange, right? The fact that I thought, that we were exploring a potential for a relationship and my own sexual preferences, it was very much blurred, and I felt taken advantage of and assaulted after reflecting on the entire experience and the energy behind the scenes and Kyle's pattern of behavior of being very hateful and horrible to his recipients, and therefore and also exploitative with his donor children. So looking at it as a whole picture, one small thing that happened within the much greater puzzle, and putting the pieces together with a lawyer and a great support system, this is the space I'm coming to, that it was sexual assault, and based on him withholding information regarding his genetic health, and him knowing that he was doing so and knowing that it was wrong, that falls under rape by deception, according to the lawyer that I am speaking with, who is a lawyer that deals with fertility fraud. So I didn't choose this, right? I didn't choose this. I am choosing this path forward with this, of course, but I didn't choose to have a conception that had rapey influences within it. So that I wanted to address first. There was another. Yeah, go ahead, Taryn.
Can I say something? Yeah. So just on what Jen has said, victim blaming is absolutely disgusting. To do that, definitely just not right. And it does make me rather angry, because it's not only Jen, but it's all the other victims. Victim blaming like this is going to not help them heal, not help them come and talk about their problems and their situation that they've had. It's honestly not helpful. What you don't understand is how vulnerable a woman can get going through this process, how old a person is. It's very, very easy to be manipulated when you are feeling so vulnerable and you are in a very unknown world. Jen looks back now, and a lot of the other victims that I've spoken to look back now, and they can't believe how stupid they were. But at that time, it all felt right. And that's because of the manipulation tactics that they have. So don't victim blame. It's not cool, bro.
No, it's not helpful.
Not at all. Not at all. But yeah, sorry, you carry on.
I appreciate that, Taryn. It feels good to have that support for sure. Another one was by a John Wick. Anyone that still decides to use him after meeting him should reconsider their choices and find a legit known donor. So for me, and within my own experience, I went back to him, right, another time. So this was obviously quite triggering to me, and upsetting, because people don't understand just how manipulative, right, some of these situations are. Like, we come into, Taryn and I were talking about this before we started recording, or before this video, and we were talking about how, when you're not in it, you simply cannot understand. And there's so much of our own previous life experiences that go into this realm, or this, this time, this window of conception. And so, for me personally, having experienced sexual assault previously, like, the way you go into certain, right, survival mechanism skills, or disoriented states, you could say, that makes it a lot more difficult to just know and see exactly what is happening right in the moment, because it doesn't really happen like that. It's more of like, oh, wow, that was what was really happening at that time. You don't understand it when it's happening in the moment. And based on previous survival mechanisms, you may rationalize it, you may, right, downplay it, and then you're being gaslit by a person and you're in this vulnerable position. It's not that simple. And how would somebody know who's a legit known donor, right? Especially when you have somebody like Kyle, who's an admin of many groups out there, who has done, media events, some of them which seem legit. And it's all going to be your perception of him and how he presents himself. And so for me, he presented himself as, number one, somebody who I thought would, as an admin, have some good ability to support this journey in some way, or give me some tips on it, or what to expect, or what to know. And he just took advantage of that space, and come to find out later on, after speaking with Taryn and speaking with others, is that he will, it's not like I just make this up, right? He will actually reach out to a new person in the group that he feels attracted to in whatever way. And he will then, pursue them, right? Pursue them and pursue their body, right? To do what he wants with it, essentially. And he will say anything that he knows that, and again, is a person. For me, I was open, I was honest. That was important to me, right? To be. And he latched on to some of those things that I was sharing, and tried to appear like he could, be the one. Who knows, whatever it was, and it was, just a lot of different things that happen within, that type of experience. So I don't feel like that was fair, and I didn't have the ability to respond to it with this comment. Oh, one other thing I wanted to say. So they also, another thing that they do, or people like Kyle does, is that they will then remove you from a group, so you no longer have access to other donors who may be interested. And for me, I was trying to understand, like, I felt like I couldn't find the original group that I had joined, because I was curious later on. And sure enough, I couldn't find it. And it seemed that I was blocked from that group. And he had added me to another group, and he wanted me to prop him up and talk about how great of a donor he was. So it's like, that's what you get. And so, yeah. So to say, like, a recipient should just instantly know who's a legit known donor and who's not. And there's these predators in all these different spaces, right? It's not just the Facebook group, it's all over. So, yeah.
Yeah, it is all over. And there are many, 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 many women out there like Jen, who we are both talking to. Some have reached out to me, some have reached out to Jen. They all over the place. A lot of them convincing and pressuring people into NI, telling them that that's the only way that, or the best way that works to get pregnant.
And it doesn't always come across as this, like, pushy, coercive, like, it can also be very subtle, the way that they kind of get you there. And then at the last minute, you never know, you're switching your choice, right?
Especially if you're straight.
Yeah.
But some of them are like, it's a game to see which lesbians they can get to. But yeah, it's very much straight. You're a big target.
Yes. Horrible.
Yeah. So what are the comments?
Not fair comments. Think about, we're here to, like, teach and guide and tell people the truth. So,
you see, a lot of people, and this happened to me last year when I started speaking up about this, a lot of people will go to all extents to shut a person up and not let them speak about their experiences. And the extents that they go to are quite horrifying, to the point that lives are threatened, including children's lives. So this is how they are able to maintain the power that they have, and the control that they have. No one's allowed to talk, but we're here to talk. We're here to share these stories and the facts and all of that with you guys.
Yep.
I'll come see you soon, buddy.
They want their mama back.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
So, yeah, so I hope that, we're providing some perspective. For me, I also just wanted to share, like, I filed a police report early on, before I actually had been aware of the genetic issues with Kyle. And I am planning on updating that after speaking with the lawyer that I had mentioned. And that's where, right, the rape by deception comes. So that will be an updated police report as well. So, it's important that you you look into the laws in your area, and women file police reports, because that's the only way that a recipient's file.
Sorry.
Okay.
Brian.
If you feel that you were assaulted, etc., like, go to your local jurisdiction. It's awkward. It's weird. I was just saying how awkward and weird it is to file a police report about using a known sperm donor, and
Yeah.
Hey, so guys, and see, I used to work with law enforcement types, so it was just awkward. It's like it's just awkward.
I can imagine. And one thing I think that's also important that we mention, Jen, is, you may consent to having sex, but it's when you say no, you say stop, it's no, it's stop. And that's where your boundaries are respected. So just because you consented doesn't mean you consented to being assaulted.
Yep. And, and it's important to, like, recognize that no in your body too, if you've been, in these types of situations prior, like when something feels like it wasn't right, it's because it wasn't right. There was something there, So, because it can be subtle, right? And you can just kind of brush it off sometimes. So.
Yeah, exactly. So for everyone who has been in this sort of situation, feel free to reach out to us. We do keep complete anonymity with everyone. So, if you just need to vent, we're here to listen. If you guys want to actually speak about your story on this channel, let us know. We'd love to have you. We can also censor out faces and names and voices and all that sort of stuff. So, let us let us know. Keep in touch. We're here for you guys.
Definitely. And please, if you're, if you want to join our group, it's another safe space to share and to talk about some of this. So, whatever feels right to you. We also have a sperm donation 101 for recipients only Facebook group, where we'll be sharing, support for your journey, essentially, and getting support from people who are not fake fertility specialists. I mean, I'm a doula, right? But
I told Dr. Phil he was an expert. It's a common thing, eh? They're all experts.
Yeah, they're experts on a woman's body, right? They know your cycle better than you know it, right? You've only been living with it since you were how old?
Yeah.
So, that shit was just, it's like, really, Kyle? You think you know my body? Like, you don't know my cycle. But anyways, those are just little annoyances that I had found. This group can be a space to, get guidance on your cycle timing and things like that too. Talk about, the good donors, like who, and what that experience is like, have your questions answered. Just, the stuff that you see in some of these other groups that are run by donors who may not have the best interests for you at heart.
And unfortunately, that's majority of the groups. Lots of fake profiles, lots of, purchasing. You can actually purchase profiles that are like old.
And how do they use these fake profiles? What are
So they'll private message people, finding out like sort of information. They'll speak about themselves as a really good donor, being a reputable donor coming from a recipient's account. They'll also use those accounts to admin their groups. So they're adminning their groups as themselves, but as women.
So they look like they're more recipient supportive.
Yeah, like they're ethical essentially, but they're not.
Yep.
Until you've got faces and names behind the profiles and voices and videos and stuff, you can't trust it, unfortunately.
Yep.
It's a sad reality. So, I mean, me and Jen will look into what are the ethical groups. Still trying to figure out that, but
yeah, I mean, there's, I know we all have our connections with people that we respect, and
I think one thing that I do want to just sort of bring up is when I found out all this information before I could even go anywhere with it, regarding Kyle and a couple of other unethical donors last year, I created a platform. And that platform was designed to be a safe place for donors and recipients to connect. Everyone that was to join that platform were to be ID verified. Pregnancies were to be tracked to each donor, so you knew how many pregnancies they had, all that sort of thing. That was like what the aim was when I released that. I have noticed that they're trying to, and that's all these dodgy donors are trying to say that I'm trying to take over all the groups and all that sort of thing, and that couldn't be further from the truth. This was released here in New Zealand with a bit of success. I did have people very interested, but these horrible donors tried everything that they can to make sure it didn't succeed. I had contacted all the group admins, the ethical people, to see if they were willing to hop on board and be admin, so they still had access to their communities. The whole platform was created like a Facebook feel, so you could talk in groups. We had a group for all users, and then we had a sperm donation only. We had a sperm recipient only, all that sort of group. I have got absolutely no idea what the laws are in all the other countries except for New Zealand and Australia with regards to having a platform like this there. So it's not even on my radar. And it's, the technology's there. If recipients call for this to be something, then awesome. If not, then not. Then we find another solution of how we can create safe places. Jen, I was actually thinking the other day, if Facebook could like blue tick certain groups, if we found that that was like a legit group with like real proper admins and that sort of thing, they could get blue tick verified. But I mean, obviously that would be us having to go to Facebook and all that, which I have done. I have reached out to Facebook. I'm just waiting to hear on some responses. But primarily my goal and why I'm doing all of this is because I'm trying to warn recipients and create safe places wherever it is. Legislation's changing, all that sort of stuff, that's where my heart lies.
Yeah, it's like I had said earlier, these predators, they're kind of everywhere. And so they're really, even on these like apps and these other platforms that are geared towards matching or meeting people for this type of exchange. And so, we need to be aware of this, and things need to change. And the fact that it's in Facebook land where it's like the wild, wild west, and your comments can be deleted in a second when you're trying to speak out or share something that should be pertinent to another recipient. It's just not, it's not good. So, and it's ridiculous that, because there's supposedly Kyle and some of these other guys are going around and trash talking Taryn and saying that Taryn is, she's trying to bring us down and, and all this crazy stuff. Like, she's just trying to create that safe space. Like, it's really that simple. And they're just taking advantage of that, they're manipulating that. And so that's what, creates, a certain image and all of that. So, that's just another aspect to their character and to their nature. And it just shows who they are. And it shows just how aggressively they're trying to hold on to something that, places recipients in harm's way, when you don't allow things to come out,
They've even gone as far as fighting for this. We're not going to back down. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think again, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that's all from me for this one.
Yeah. So please, reach out to us for support, to share your stories. We're definitely here to listen, and to, share your story, in whatever capacity you want, or however you want to, come help with this, or, this intention that we have of ending whatever is happening right now. So yeah, please do reach out, and we're happy to listen. And if you're not comfortable there, then join one of our groups or email. I'll post my email below. You can email us as well. So I hope that this helps to place things in perspective to you, perhaps. And best of luck. We'll talk soon.
Cool. Cheers, guys.
Bye.